Hello, everybody. My name is Mahael Abdul-Qawi. I'm the founder and representative of the Accountability Party for Human Rights, a political vanguard organization comprised of individuals who have chosen a path of self-awareness and self-understanding to become something more for themselves, for their loved ones, family, and friends, and then enlarge their communities around them. In this video, I want to talk about our good old President Joe Biden. Excuse me. I want to cover our president because I don't think I've actually, in a while, probably since the beginning of his term last year, talked about him on this channel. I talked about his actions, but I haven't specifically talked about him. And I haven't talked about why him, his actions, and his lackluster performance as a leader is going to drive us into darker times. He's going to drive us into the next 3 years of chaos, followed by whatever reaction that will come after him, regardless if it is another Democrat, if it's Donald Trump, or if it's another Republican, regardless of what, it seems to be that modern presidency is just more so a reaction of the previous person that was president, not more so a response to what's going on in the American people's lives and a response to what's going on in the world. Because, I mean, why would they? A response requires thought process, it requires patience, it requires considering all variables, which would be the American people, and coming up with the best solution that fits all. What we have been living through since Bush, Obama, Trump, and now Biden is simply reactionary, where they're reacting solely to what the prior person does. And you can say that this has been going on for a while, but in a while meaning for the last several decades. But I'm only going to focus on this because it seems as politics has become more surface in the 21st century, as politics have become more identity and more woke, it's very the playing field is all reactionary. It's all glam, and you can blame the media, you can blame Hollywood, whatever it may be. So right now, what Biden is doing when it comes to the conflict in Russia, invading the Ukraine, and that situation, with his response in terms of what is currently going on right now in the United States of America, people are struggling. As somebody that's part of the working class myself, I am 26 years old, and I live in Pasadena, California, technically LA, and it is not easy. And yes, there are those who can say, I chose this, and yes, I chose to come out here, but I also came out here when Trump was president. I came out here in a very different time. I could not have predicted where the next couple years would have gone since me coming out here. And because I became an adult out here, it's hard to just up and leave once you start settling certain roots. And that's okay. I took on that challenge, and that's perfectly okay. I don't think nobody should come at anybody for the reasonings why they move somewhere. Yes, some spots may be expensive, and yes, that could also be the reason why they leave and all. But if they choose to stay there for reasons, that may not be seen for you, they may choose that. Now, we also choose our government officials as well, too. And we choose these people, we elect them to answer to the needs that we, the American people, have to have fulfilled, because these are human rights, and government and politicians are supposed to uphold human rights first and foremost. What is happening is not upholding human rights. It's belittling it. It's degrading it. It's stepping on it over and over again. It's curb stopping the human rights of American people. See, what they don't want to tell you when the politicians and the media start focusing on tensions in Europe instead of COVID, because COVID is over. And I don't want to continue to talk about COVID unless something drastic happens with it, such as a new variant or whatever may be. I don't want to continue to talk about it. But what they don't tell you when they shift their focus, see, on the surface, it may seem like a celebration. Oh, yes, COVID's over. We're talking about new things now. But this is what they don't tell you, is that these same Democratic officials during the Trump years, and then when Biden became president, all the liberals, they pushed for these lockdowns, they pushed for these mandates, they pushed for these vaccine mandates, all as a response to COVID. And they made all the American people sign a contract March of 2020 that we will all fight against this, and we did what we can. And in doing so, we sacrificed a fucking lot. And in sacrificing a lot, they also helped us out by providing protection, whether it's for our financial or for our living, with the hopes of these protections would go away once we figure everything out, and not just figure everything out in terms of COVID, but figure out how do we bounce back from the from the shit show that we have caused. We will protect you until we balance things out. Fast forward now, 2022, March 2022, 2 years later. The protections are gone with the media and politicians' attention. But guess what's not fixed? The problems that they fucking caused. The rent relief that every state was supposed to hand out to the American people, where is the money at? People are about to be evicted. It's about to be a hot summer, baby. It's about to be real hot. And guess who caused this? The same people who were a reaction to Trump. People who didn't have an exact policy. The same establishment that pushed a man so incompetent that we took him in only to find out there was no competency there. Now here we are, 2022, moving forward. We're really going to find out that COVID wasn't the real bad guy at all. We're going to see that although COVID was a battle, because it was real. I've had it personally. I know people personally who've gotten sick or passed away. So it was a battle. But again, a bug is going to do what a bug is going to do. Humans, though, that's a different story. And where we're at right now, we need to analyze what humans are doing against other humans. All for the sake of corruption and greed, and it's not fair. And I'm not saying it's not fair in terms of as I want a handout. I'm saying it's not fair because I didn't ask you to interrupt in my life, but because you have a little bit more power, because we fucking chose. I didn't choose you, but because you gathered the masses and convinced them to choose you. You're gonna fuck up my way of living? That's not fair. Man, these politicians, they're really gonna rue this day. They're gonna rue this. And inshallah, I can only hope that they have peace, because the working class, and not just the working class of the United States of America, the working class in the Ukraine, in Russia, in Europe as a whole, across Africa, Asia, South America, definitely Australia, with that shit show, with that liberal authoritarian state that they're living in. The working class, man, COVID wasn't the enemy. If anything, COVID helped us see who really was the enemy. And y'all did have to work for it. So, inshallah for y'all, inshallah that as these elites think that they can push this great reset and then convince us to be okay with owning nothing and being happy about it by believing into the great narrative, I think they have another thing coming to them. And the funny thing is, it could have been a lot smoother if you guys didn't get so hasty. And you guys meaning the elites. You know who you guys are.